Jim, a lot of times this year the group has maybe struggled to carry those road performances home. Tonight it's another 5-1 win. Did you see some elements of that Vancouver game show up in today's game?
I did for sure, and that was this is loud. Anyways, we'll start fresh. No, that game, and that was our challenge to our team, is we had to bring the road game home, and I thought we did that. I really did. I know they had some pressure on us late with the 6-on-5 and stuff like that, but I thought for the most part we brought that game home.
How about responding to a quick goal by them and then just doing what you needed to do from there?
Yeah, I don't think anybody was ready for that one, and just hit a piece of the glass there, the stanchion. I don't even know, and popped right to them. The play was the right play. Everybody was doing the right thing, so it sets you on your heels for sure. But that was kind of what I liked about us. Nobody panicked. We just kind of started like, okay, let's just start fresh, 0-0, and we were able to dig ourselves out of that.
Jim, when you lose a player like Adrian Kempe, you kind of need your other top players to step up. Kevin Field has 8 points in his last 3 games. How important is it to get him playing at that level right now with the injuries?
Well, very important, and give Kevin credit for sure. And he's scoring for us, but I just really like Kevin's game, his overall game. And sometimes as coaches, we evaluate some things that maybe don't make sense to people sometimes, and maybe we're a little bit risk averse. But Kevin is delivering offensively, and I'll tell you what, he's playing as good as he's played without the puck here over the last couple of weeks. That's carried over from him. It's nice to see the whole package out of Kevin.
Phil also highlighted Kevin's 200-foot game. We talked to him just now.
Good.
What do you think has changed for Kevin that's allowed him to be that? Is it just a mental thing, or has there been some teaching things that have happened for him?
No, I think it's a mental thing. I think it's it's just a hard thing to do. We talked about it yesterday. Consistently doing the right thing. Well, especially when you're somebody who has that kind of talent and can do some things on your own that other players sometimes can't do. So he has the ability to do that. He has the green light to do that. It's finding that fine line of when you can and when you can't. And right now he's found that line.
You mentioned last home game that the team's got to get back to their identity, which is checking and goals follow that. Did it seem like a great checking game that you've been giving them constant reminders that they're a checking team? Yeah,
that's right. You know what? We talked from the start about getting back to our identity, and I think we're pretty close right now. I think you're always on guard to say we've achieved something, because the game is never, you're always chasing perfection. But we've certainly looked over the stretch, despite losing the 2 games on the road. I still thought we checked pretty well on those games. We're getting real close to the way we want to look.
How big has it been to have Cam back on the beam for you guys and for him?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a question for him. He's just played really solid, and David has too. So I want to make sure I include that. Our goaltending has been very solid, and Cam's had some games where he hasn't had to make big save after big save. We've played the checking game well, but he still had to make saves. There's still pucks coming through traffic that hit him. He's got to be in the right spot. It might not look like a 10-bell save, but he's in the right spot making those saves look easy. That's hard to do. That's when the goaltender's on his game.
11-7 can be tricky for both player and coach. Talk about what you liked about how you've been able to manage that.
Right. Well, 11-7 for the forwards, it's they would tell you it's better because they all get more ice time. For the defensemen is where the challenge is, because somebody's not getting as much as they would normally get. So it's you really have to split it. Now, the challenge is to juggle them. That's a little bit different of a situation, I guess, with the forwards. But I look at our ice times tonight, and there's 4 or 5 guys that I look at and I say, geez, I wish I would have played them more. And I'm sure they feel that way too. So it's not. I don't believe it's overtaxing, overburdening anybody up front right now at all. I kind of like the way it's rolling out, to be honest.
You talked about just bringing that road game from Vancouver back home. And Quinton, after the Calgary game, talked about we can't lose games like we did against Calgary. So I wonder, from a coaching standpoint, was there a challenge that you made or something that was said to the group after that Calgary game that, hey, something's, we need to reset here?
Well, I think both the Edmonton game and the Calgary game were winning in the second period, tied going into the third. And both those games we came out with nothing. And we had, we used a lot of gas in both those games. We had strong efforts in a lot of those games. We were on our heels a little bit against Calgary in the first, but we defended really well. They didn't get a lot of good chances. So you use all that energy and you come up with nothing. Well, we're at the time of the year where we need points. It can't just be about playing a good 40, 45, 50 minutes. We had to play start to finish. And I think when you take the Vancouver game, you take the game tonight, I think you got to be pretty happy with the complete games that we played.
Playing a team like the Devils, where they're fairly young and very fast and desperate for points, is there a factor of being able to maybe frustrate them or push them when you come back and you don't collapse after you get that first goal?
Yeah. Well, we'd like to do that to every team. And some teams pose a bigger challenge, and the Devils do because they are so quick. They can just get you. But our goal is, without the puck, to check people, to have them come into our rink and not want to play us and know it's going to be a frustrating game, know that they're not going to get a lot of opportunity. And if we're doing that, we're playing well. And some teams are able to, because of their speed and skill, slice through you sometimes. They can beat you one-on-one, and that's the Devils have those types of players.
Phil Deneau does so many little things that benefit the group most days. How nice is it to see him get rewarded for all that he does day in, day out?
Yeah, that's right. You talk about doing it right and the risk-reward equation, and Phil's usually on the risk-averse side. That's why the coaches like him so much. So it's nice to see them then get rewarded for all that work and all that, putting the team first. So Phil's a good player. He scored lots of goals in the league. Somebody told me he hadn't scored on home ice this year. So to get 3 on the first game at home ice in front of our fans, and the fans obviously, there was a lot of hats that came down tonight. It was really good for him. The guys were really happy for him.
Oh, so you didn't challenge him, you need to score at home?
No. He just needs to play like Phil Deneau at home, on the road, wherever. And we know that, eventually he's going to break through.
Just go back to something you said earlier. You were talking about the second periods of games going to third period being tied. It's been a bit of a bugaboo for this team. I know tonight was an issue. We weren't there, but is that, it's 4 wins in 13 after, going to the third period tied. Is that a mindset, or is that
No, yeah, I don't know. It's a mindset. The games are close, and they're close for a reason. If I take it back to the Calgary game, we outchanced them in the third period, but they scored and we didn't. So, goals are random events sometimes, and you really are looking for chances and opportunities. But in the end, you get points or you don't get points, and that's how we're measured, and that's how our team is measured. So sometimes you forget all about the other stuff and you just look at the points. So it hasn't been a factor or a situation where we haven't played hard in the third. It just says, we've come up short. And so you can't get frustrated by it. You just got to make sure you stick with it. We did.
Jim, you mentioned there are guys that probably didn't get as much ice time as anyone wanted them to, really. Frank Clark's one of those guys. He had under 9 minutes. How difficult is it to manage that situation, especially with a kid who's used to playing big-time minutes, over 20 minutes in his career?
Right. Well, it's not really it's easy for us to manage. It's how does he manage it? You know what I mean? How do you get used to that? How do you keep focused? How do you wait your turn? Those are things that if you haven't been through it before, you have to kind of go just like any other lesson that you learn in life. You got to go through it and see and make sure that when you do get called, that you're ready to do the right things. Because if you go out there and you're not ready and you lose your focus and you do something wrong, those 7 turn into 5 pretty quickly, and pretty soon they turn into 0. So it's just the way the game works.
Is the coaching staff seeing the right things from Frank when he does get those opportunities in games right now?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I think we were happy with his minutes. Yeah, no issues there at all.
A couple weeks now that you've been here in the helm, would you say that they're doing pretty much what you wanted or expected them to do at this stage? Because you talked about what your expectations were.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're organized. We're working both ways. We're playing the game. Coaches say it the right way. We're playing with some passion. Again, it's always very close. The teams are very even. It doesn't always translate into wins, but we like the spot we're in. But we got a lot of work to do. That's the only problem.
Is this a fancy week for players with the deadline on Friday?
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah, for everybody, it's unsettling. Whether your team makes any moves at all. I think every team in the league, every player in the league is a little uncertain going into this time for whatever reasons. Nobody likes to have to pack up and leave, or oftentimes join a new team. That's not always the easiest thing to do either. So, we're sensitive to all that, but everybody's been through it many times, and it's not going to change. So we'll just make sure we're focused and ready to go.